Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFL lately, you know that the NFC East is heating up in a way we haven't seen in quite a while. And for the Washington Commanders, this latest move could be a game changer, a move that might just set the tone for the rest of the season and beyond. But let's start from the beginning, because the Commanders' recent Week 2 game against the Green Bay Packers really highlighted some of the issues they need to address, and fast. Losing that game was tough, no doubt about it. But what really stands out is how quickly some of their problems have become glaring. You see, the Commanders entered this season with high hopes, especially on offense. But that hope took a hit the moment their star running back, Austin Ekeler, went down with what the team confirmed as an Achilles injury. Now, for any NFL fan, you know that losing a player with Ekeler's caliber is not just a blow. It's a punch to the gut. Ekeler has been a key part of this team, a versatile back who can run, catch, and make plays happen out of nowhere. And to lose him for the entire season, that's a devastating blow. This injury, confirmed by the team, leaves the Commanders scrambling to find a solution. The immediate question is, who will step into that role? Right now, it's Jackery Krosky-Merritt who's been tasked with carrying the load. But let's be honest, Krosky-Merritt is still a rookie, still learning his craft at this level. Having such a young player as your primary back, it's not sustainable if the team wants to contend seriously. They need experience, they need depth, and they need a guy who can step in right away and perform under pressure. That's where the potential trade for Isaiah Pacheco comes into focus. Now, you might be asking, who is Pacheco? Well, he's a player who's been making waves with the Kansas City Chiefs over the past few years. In his 4 seasons in the NFL, Pacheco has shown he's got the rushing ability and the grit to be a true difference maker. Just think about the numbers. Over 600 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns in those 594 attempts. That's not just production, that's a guy who can carry a team when needed. And if you watch the Chiefs' Week 1 game against the Los Angeles Chargers, you saw a different approach from Kansas City's ground game. Instead of relying on Pacheco as the primary runner, Patrick Mahomes took a lot of the rushing duties himself, finishing with 57 yards, and Pacheco, while still effective, only managed 25 yards. Kareem Hunt also saw some carries, cutting into Pacheco's snap share and finishing with 16 yards. The key here is that Pacheco's role is diminishing, and that raises some serious questions about his long-term future in Kansas City. If the Chiefs are moving towards a different running back rotation, or if they're considering a rebuild in the backfield, then trading Pacheco makes a lot of sense, especially if they want to get some value back for a player who has proved he can be a reliable and explosive rusher. The team's management might see a trade as the smartest move, especially with Pacheco entering free agency at the end of the season. And that's exactly where the Washington Commanders come into the picture. They're looking to rebuild, retool, and find that spark on offense. Pairing Pacheco with Jackery Krosky-Merritt and the quarterback Jaden Daniels' rushing ability could be exactly what the team needs to get back on track offensively. Imagine a backfield with Pacheco's explosiveness, Krosky-Merritt's raw talent, and Daniels' mobility. It could open up so many options, making the Commanders less predictable and more dangerous. Plus, with Pacheco's proven production, 647 yards and 17 touchdowns over 4 seasons, he's a guy who can make an immediate impact. Now, let's look at the bigger picture for a moment. The Commanders have been building steadily over the past few seasons, with a focus on solid defense and an evolving offense led by young talent. But injuries like Ekeler's abruptly remind us how fragile that progress can be. The NFC East is no longer just about the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants are also showing signs of life. So, for Washington, the urgency is real. They need to capitalize on opportunities, and acquiring a player like Pacheco could be a strategic move. It's about adding that extra punch, that extra gear, to push them closer to playoff contention and maybe even a deep postseason run. And speaking of the team's current state, it's worth noting that the offense has shown flashes of brilliance, but consistency has been elusive. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback, has been impressive with his rushing ability, often extending plays and creating opportunities out of nowhere. The addition of a reliable running back like Pacheco would complement Daniels' style perfectly. It's not just about the rushing yardage, it's about setting up play action, keeping defenses honest, and controlling the game clock. That's the kind of balanced attack that can help Washington dominate games and secure wins against tough opponents. But let's not forget, acquiring Pacheco wouldn't be just a simple transaction. It would involve negotiations, trade value assessments, and strategic planning. It's a move that could signal the franchise's intent to push hard for a playoff spot, and perhaps even challenge their division rivals more aggressively. Given Pacheco's age and production, he's a player who can fit into the team's plans for the next several seasons, not just as a stopgap. That's a key point for the front office to consider. Now, the NFL trade window is always buzzing, and the Kansas City Chiefs are known for their shrewd moves. If they decide that trading Pacheco aligns with their long-term plans, the Commanders will have a prime opportunity. They need to act quickly and decisively because once a player like Pacheco is traded, he's gone from the market, and that opportunity might not come again soon. For Washington, it's about making the right offer, convincing the Chiefs that Pacheco is the missing piece, and then integrating him into their offensive scheme seamlessly. Looking ahead, if the Commanders manage to pull this off, it could really shift the dynamic of their offense. With Pacheco's speed, vision, and ability to break tackles, combined with the youthful energy of Krosky Merritt and the versatile playmaking of Daniels, they could form a formidable backfield. It's about more than just adding talent. It's about creating a complementary unit that can thrive under pressure, adapt to different game scenarios, and keep defenses guessing. And let's talk about the coaching staff for a moment. They've shown they're willing to adapt and make bold moves when needed. Bringing in Pacheco would be a clear statement that the team is serious about contending. It would send a message to the rest of the league that the Commanders are not just content with rebuilding, but aiming for immediate impact and postseason success. The chemistry between a new player and existing roster pieces is always a factor, but with the right coaching and integration, Pacheco could become a core part of this team's identity moving forward. Now fans, I know this is a lot to digest, but what's exciting about all of this is the possibility. The NFL is always full of surprises, and a trade like this could be just the beginning of an exciting chapter for the Washington Commanders. They have the talent, the coaching staff, and now potentially the new piece to elevate their game to the next level. And with all the division rivals making moves of their own, the NFC East is about to become even more competitive. The Commanders are positioning themselves to be a serious contender, and acquiring a player like Pacheco could be the move that pushes them over the edge. Of course, it's all speculation at this point, but that's what makes football so thrilling: the anticipation, the strategic moves, and the possibility of witnessing a team's rise from the ashes. The front office is undoubtedly looking at options, weighing the pros and cons, and trying to figure out the best way to build a team that's not just good on paper, but one that performs consistently on the field. Pacheco's skill set fits that mold perfectly, and if the deal happens, it could be a turning point for the franchise. So, fans, stay tuned because the coming weeks could be filled with surprises. Keep an eye on the news, the trades, and the rumors because the NFL offseason is always unpredictable. For now, the Washington Commanders are at a crossroads, and the decision to trade for Isaiah Pacheco might just be the key to unlocking their full potential. Whether it happens or not, one thing is for sure: the NFC East is about to get even more interesting, and Washington is positioning itself to be right in the middle of the action. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think trading for Isaiah Pacheco makes sense? How do you see him fitting into the team's offensive scheme? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in the burgundy and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This is a team that's always fighting, always evolving, and always looking for that edge to become champions. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Commanders.